It begins again. Once again, we are on a brand new Super Sentai season. And just before we go too far into it, let's get this out of the way first. Because I've already had people asking me, oh, they were telling staff it's going to be the last one. They were telling the actors it's going to be the last one. No! No, not how that works. It is a pep talk they give everyone before they start filming that you are in a franchise that has gone so and so many decades and it could end with you. It's a pump up thing to get them to put on their best performance they possibly can, because just in case this is the last one, you guys have got to send it out on a high note. It's just to get the most out of their performance as possible. It's not an indication. I've heard the same thing happen in previous seasons. Same exact confusion happened. Put it to bed now. This is not going to be the last season. Not this close to 50. Or at least going to stretch it out that far. But let's talk about it. Let's actually talk about Avataro Sentai Donbrothers. Not the smoothest name for a Ranger season, but hey, we always get used to those. So going into this, the dread I think everyone had was the CGI, because this is the first time we had fully CGI Rangers, and technically not fully CGI. There is some camera trickery to Kiji brother, but we'll get there. But no, I think that was like the dread here was like it's gonna be a little bit weird, and it is. There's no denying that. Just to touch on the CGI just for a little bit. Kiji brother is the only one we see so far. Inu brother was not in this episode outside of the preview for the next one. And yes, the animation does look awkward. It's a good model. Like the character model's fine. It's the fact you have to remember this is a weekly series that gets developed relatively quickly. So they don't really have the time to properly render it. Also, you have to remember we are dealing with suit actors who are used to having, actual people on set with them to play off of. So when you have just normal grunts throwing themselves around haphazardly and they have to make the animations fit that, you're going to get some awkward scenes. That's just how that goes. It is weird, and they try to hide it as much as possible, just for budgetary reasons. There's a lot of close-ups of Kiji brother just from the waist up, so they can use an actual suit. So it's a weird workaround, and it does work. And then the CGI in the actual mecha battle is actually better. It's actually a lot smoother, and it makes a lot more sense there. But we'll get to that too. I want to progress like a little bit linearly. I just want to cover the CGI thing because that was everyone's big thing going into it. So the setup is just straight up the legend of Momotaro. It is a young boy is a baby found in a peach floating in the river, though this peach fell out of the sky from some digital vortex. It's a little bit different. It is an expected start for this. They go heavy on the Momotaro legend. You could probably guess that by, the Red Ranger being named Don Momotaro, having the peach motif to his costume, all of that. Of course it is. I expect it to be a little bit heavier. I need to read up on it because I'm actually kind of curious how close they're going to come. But that was just the beginning of the episode. Like, we actually only get a little bit of the Red Ranger, Taro. The episode's focus is actually Oni's sister, Haruka, which is actually kind of surprising to me. That normally Sentai, because it's a boys brand in Japan, kind of downplays the female ranger as much as possible, and I was worried they would really do that when there's only one in the series to focus on. But that's not the case here. She's actually given the vast bulk of the episode, and she kind of serves as our viewpoint, because she just discovered these powers. She just discovered this fight, everyone just kind of like slowly introduces her to it. There's a lot of mystery elements here. There's a mystery man in the virtual space. The two other rangers we got to see, Kiji brother and Don Momotaro, seem to be in on it and aware of what's going on, but they don't have time to explain anything. And everything here is just mysterious. There's a sunglass theme to this season, and it just kind of pops out of her cell phone. Like, her cell phone, just like a gacha game, comes up and it just gives her the glasses. Like, no rhyme or reason why, we don't know just yet. And the glasses, the way the shades work, have you ever seen They Live, the Roddy Piper movie? You know, where he's like, or it's a meme too, like just where he lifts up the glasses and everything looks fine. Then he puts the glasses down and he can see the aliens hiding amongst the humans. Same exact premise. It's lifted one for one from They Live, which I'm sure in Japan is not the cult classic it is in America, but still, it is ironic to me that the downfall storyline of Haruka here is that she was a manga writer who just won an award for a new manga she created, only for someone to later find out, oh, the whole thing is plagiarized, even though she had no idea it was. To her, it was an original creation. So we don't even know why that happened. It just happened to be a spark of misfortune. Which is going to be fortune is a big theme in this series, which we're going to start going over. Yeah, so it was, it's like losing track of what I'm talking about because I keep hopping back and forth. There's just a lot to cover in this episode, so excuse me if I go off. But it's weird to me that they've put this storyline of her like being discovered as a plagiarist when their own premise is plagiarized from They Live. It's such a weird thing. Right down to the advertising billboards. There's a big advertisement in downtown Shibuya, and like on a big screen. And when she puts the glasses on, the actress on the screen changes to one of the creatures. It is just straight up They Live as a Super Sentai. I'm kind of here for that, and I'm kind of like, really? At the same time? So we did focus a lot on Haruka, because she is our introduction to how everything works. We did get a little bit of what Momotaro is all about, or Don Momotaro as a ranger. He is a delivery boy who also delivers fortune. He visits somebody, abruptly cleans up their apartment, apparently, and gives them a quick little pep talk that motivates them to continue their education pursuits, which is actually, I kind of like the idea of a delivery person who delivers fortune as well. It is a very anime concept, but it works here, and it works. It makes for a nice, inspiring Red Ranger. That said, as a Red Ranger, Don Momotaro is one of the boldest I have ever seen. Like, he is frankly bombastic, which is going to take a little bit getting used to. It's been a long time since I've seen a Red Ranger with so much bravado, and this one also throws a whole lot of showmanship in with it. So he's a little much. But he's kind of fun in that way too. So again, elements to get used to, but I feel like it's the character quirk that's going to grow on me a little bit. So, in the course of all of this, we have another mystery, which is Zenkaiger Black. And all gray, with the exception of a touch of gold and blue, a grayed out version of Zenkaiger, which is so weird to see, because he's also like really mellow compared to Zenkaiger. Like, he is like very like quiet. Again, not nearly the bravado he had before, because of course it's apparently an alternate version of the original. Same actor, by the way, is just someone else, and they make it clear that the Sentai gears from Zenkaiger is actually a major plot point here, where they are trying to recover them from the monsters. I can't remember which one they got back in this episode. One of the more recent ones, and they did break out Juran's gear as well for the mecha fight at the end. No explanation again, No explanation for any of this. It is clear Don Momotaro and Zenkaiger Black are somehow connected and they know each other, because there's no surprise from Don Momotaro when, Juron in T-Rex mode just starts running up to him to combine. All that just seems like another day at the office to him. Speaking of the office, the cockpit in this one, I'm always excited for the first mecha battle, because I'm kind of curious how the inside of the mecha is going to look. I'm kind of getting sick of the extra dimensional space ones that they do, where it's just a platform and CGI. It feels just so boring. I like a big tech heavy cockpit. I like levers and buttons all over, like they're actually controlling this giant machine rather than just psychically manipulating it. I prefer the mechanical over the mental in that sense. Though there is something to this series where it feels like that might be part of the intent, is to actually have a more mental aspect of this. Something I didn't touch on is the fact that when trouble is abound, they apparently their transformation warps them to the monster itself, which is some part of the virtual reality element of this. It's another thing I didn't even touch on, is when they're transformed and when they have the shades on, they can kind of see this virtual element to the world. And it kind of it seems like in the battle, it kind of separates into two different worlds. That's where the mecha battle happens, and there's a lot of digital video gamey element going on during the fight scenes when they're morphed. That's another interesting take. So again, it's a very weird mix going on here. Very weird, old Japanese legend, modern virtual reality and video game. It's a weird blend. It's interesting. It's just weird. But what I was going to say, the cockpit itself is basically the same cockpit as it was in Zenkaiger, and I'm not happy with that. I'm not happy with how much from Zenkaiger is still here. Borrowing Juron seems like a shortcut. The new the cockpit being the exact same digital set, I'm not happy about that. I knew it was reusing previous elements, and in the past I kind of defended that, because if it works really well, there's nothing really wrong with just seeing what more they could do with it with another year to expand the concept. So I kind of defended the idea of Donbrothers borrowing so much from Zenkaiger, the gears, the blaster transformation, but I didn't realize they were borrowing this much. And right now it just doesn't feel like I'm watching a brand new Sentai. It feels like I'm watching a continuation, which might be part of the intention here, but I'm not getting that fresh feeling that I normally get out of a brand new Sentai series as a result. It feels like they're just introducing, 5 or 6 new characters to Zenkaiger. I'm looking through my notes here just to make sure I've got everything written down. We do have a mysterious villain in this one, and really confusing, because the first time it's Sonoe. I don't know how it's pronounced yet because we didn't hear it yet. But the first time we see them, they come to Haruka's rescue, destroy the monster of the week, and it's not even a monster of the week. It's just a monster that appeared. And then another monster appeared that they destroyed, but they also had more villainous intents. They were working with the grunt enemies of the series. And then he creates a third monster. A lot going on in this episode, if you can't figure that out. So I'm not even sure what his motivation is or what he was doing when he's destroying 2 monsters and then creating a third. It just feels weird. And I'm not sure exactly what the angle is there. It's just, again, there is so much. This whole episode it's not so much an introduction to Donbrothers like most of them are. It seems to spend more time trying to focus on those threads, trying to put as many plot hooks in as possible to drag viewers into the next episode. It's a lot of mysteries. It's a lot of, why did that happen? Who is that? Why are they doing this? a lot left to imagination and a lot left to still discover rather than just straight up, here's the team, here's the mecha. You know, we didn't even see 2 of the Donbrothers in this episode. You know, they are still to come. And of course, we didn't see any original mecha. We saw the bike that originally debuted in Zenkaiger. We got to see that. But beyond that, we're still waiting for any original mecha to show up. We do know that there's other ones on the way for Don Momotaro, combinations with past Sentai designs. They look terrible so far. I'm really hoping the rest get some mecha and we get some proper like Sentai combinations going. It feels like they're going to go for something completely different this time, though. So I worry that it's going to take out my favorite part of the series. Something else they were borrowing, and God, there's so much they were borrowing. I knew they were borrowing a lot from Zenkaiger. I did not realize that we were also borrowing the entire gimmick of Gokaiger, because apparently the recovered Sentai gears that they have can be used decade style to transform into past Rangers. I mean, it really devalues the Gokaigers for starters, because you just gave some other new set of Rangers their powers, but also you let them do it better because it's not just a generic transformation noise when they change. It actually retains the proper henshin sounds. At least it did for Zenkaiger. I don't know or Zenkaiger. I don't know how that's going to play up when they start doing other Rangers. It might be more generic when they do that, but like if that's how that gun works, that's a like loaded, absolutely loaded sound effect chip if that's how they're actually playing this. But yeah, I didn't expect that. I'm not a big fan of it, really. Like I really wish they would have done something a little bit different than that, though. I guess when you go with a sequel to Zenkaiger, then this is probably the only direction to go in, just to expand like how we're using all the extra powers. I'm looking over my notes here. See, yes, yeah, there's a CG, Kiji brother, Zenkaiger. I'm just making sure I got everything here, because I'm kind of going a little bit long-winded here. I didn't mean to talk for as long as the episode was, but here we are. There's a lot to go over, like I said. I do want to check out episode 2. It does have enough, like I said, this is basically designed to be a plot hook episode, drag you into the rest of the series, and that's kind of what this episode did. I expected it to be a lot more silly than it was. It's got its silly elements, but it's got enough cool and it's got enough mystery to it that I do kind of want to check it out further. So this isn't going to be like a weekly or regular thing. I just want to get my thoughts on the first episode out, and hopefully hopefully it's a good one. Sentai needs to have more good seasons going for it. So that is it. Did you check out the first episode? If you did, let me know in the comments below. I'm actually curious what you thought of the episode. And yeah, I don't know if this will be a regular thing or not, but who knows? We might just check in on it once in a while. How about that? Until then, though. Guys, I am facing the most powerful enemy any YouTuber can face, the algorithm, and I need your help to defeat him. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, and leave a comment. Every time you do, we attack that algorithm and we drive it back until it can no longer defeat this channel. Thank you very much.